Will World Bank work directly with startups? Is that a possibility down the road?
Yeah. So we have this, as I mentioned before, we have our IFC, the International Finance Corporation, is our private sector arm, and they work directly with the private sector, and they're looking to make more investments. If you've got good bankable investments in the startup space, in digital, in tourism, in hospitality, in energy, please.
मात्र रु 49 मा लाइफ हुन्छ चक्काचक एन्टरटेनमेन्ट होस् वा अन्य कुनै काम आजै प्याक खरिद गरी अनलिमिटेड डाटा वा भोइस कलको फाइदा उठाउनुहोस् Buy now on Ncell app or dial *123#. Ncell, हामी तपाईकै लागि.
I want to ask you about, what do you think of the startup culture that we have?
Amazing. No, amazing. So I'm sure this is a bit cliche, but I went to visit my friend Kiran Joshi and his wife Deepa at Incessant Rain Studios. Right now, who would have thought that in a building in the middle of Kathmandu, they would be doing the CGI
for Disney,
Disney, the Matrix, Hollywood movies. Amazing, right? So it goes to show you there is this dynamism in the country among the youth, this incredible creativity and dynamism. And I think the question is now how to harness it and how to think about, there you go, how to think about how to make more of that happen in a more dynamic way. I think super important, super interesting.
Will World Bank work directly with startups? Is that a possibility down the road?
Yeah, so we have this, as I mentioned before, we have our IFC, the International Finance Corporation, is our private sector arm, and they work directly with the private sector, and they're looking to make more investments. If you've got good bankable investments in the startup space, in digital, in tourism, in hospitality, in energy, please come see the World Bank and our colleagues at the IFC in the same building at the Yak and Yeti Hotel, and we are looking to double down on Nepal.
That's great to hear. The real sharks are there.
Exactly, where the real money is.
Where the real money is. Let me go ahead and pick your brain on industries. Over a span of let's say 2 decades, what has the research said, and where are the things that we are banking on when it comes to industries and creating thousands of jobs?
Yeah,
not just hundreds, but thousands of jobs.
So I think when we think about Nepal and think about what the opportunities are, we see 3 or 4 big buckets. Okay, so and these are pretty broad, but the first is tourism. Okay. So the tourism sector, Nepal is, sorry for colloquial Americanism, but it's punching below its weight in terms of tourism. So I'll give you an example. Globally, every 7 tourists creates 1 job. And in parts of Nepal, we're working on Lumbini right now, it's 11 tourists create 1 job. So the tourists that are coming are spending less money, spending a shorter amount of time. And you know it. I don't need to. You can have a walk through Tamil one evening and see that you're a little bit trapped in a kind of low-level equilibrium with tourism. And so this, finding ways to get more tourists to come for longer and spend more money at maybe a higher level of tourism is a critical opportunity for the country. So tourism, I think many of us at the World Bank think that tourism is a space where Nepal can do much better.
How did Maldives bank on that?
I mean, incredible story, right? Maldives now has a GDP and this is a 20-year transformation of a country, has a GDP per capita of $13,000, 10 times the GDP per capita of Nepal. And they did it, I think, by being very smart about bringing the private sector, being very good at marketing, and by offering, by really targeting that high end. They made a decision similar to Botswana. I used to live in Southern Africa, so Botswana is a bit of a similar situation by making a decision that chasing numbers is one thing, but really finding that chasing that higher level, higher spend tourist is part of the solution. That was what they decided. Given this incredible natural beauty that they have and these incredible endowments, would be would be central to their strategy. So that combination of making the investments, bringing the private sector, they're just finalizing the expansion of an airport, which is really going to, I think, help them significantly. And
this is with the Maldives.
In the Maldives, and being very smart about the marketing piece. So tourism is one bucket, but I don't want to just talk about tourism. I think you asked about industry. The digital industry of the future is got to be a piece of the strategy. And this is a place where I think where Nepal can do more, right? Thinking both about the digital infrastructure it needs. Connectivity is good, but still some investments to do there. But making sure that the space, I'm really pleased to see the government's made some efforts now to liberalize the flow of money in and out of the country for digital industries.
Digital industries,
yes. Little bit, right? First step. And doing more of that and finding ways to get those fuse machines and cloud factories doing more is really.
I could say a lot of things. I want to keep it for. I want to keep it for when they ring the bell. Let me just go ahead and say it there. Fuse machines is a fantastic, right? Amazing story. As soon as they go ahead and ring that bell, and then it's going to be
exactly.
It's going to be fantastic for every Nepali living here or abroad. That there is a possibility to have $1 billion company or anywhere in the world.
And I get contacted. It was really interesting. Just in the last week, I've been contacted by expatriate Nepalis who are living in Silicon Valley and working in Silicon Valley and making lots of money, who want to do things for Nepal and are asking, look, how can I get involved? So Nepal also has, part of the upside of having exported so many people is that you have people in these incredible industries, dynamic growth industries that are, I think, ready to contribute more to the country and make some of those investments actually to get those started. So digital's got to be a piece of the story.
A very good friend of mine, he's one of the co-founders for F1 Soft, the creators of PhonePe and eSewa. And I'll never forget what he said, and it's very similar to what you just said. So when we have multinational companies coming to Nepal, or when we have people who've worked abroad and coming to Nepal, we acquire the skills. And that is more valuable than anything else.
It's true. And that's why in both digital, but more broadly, foreign direct investment is something the country needs to be more serious about. Foreign direct investment in the country last year was close to zero. And so I think that part of the policy challenge is making sure that people know that Nepal is serious about bringing in foreign investors in the energy space and in digital, in tourism, across the board. And I'm not so sure that right now that's the first priority of policymaking.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जॉय गर्नुभयो होला। अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ YouTube मा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला।
Vyas Media Network.